episode of the Hot Corner podcast. We have Tyler and I here today. So, for this episode, we're going to actually go through Tyler's Spotlight Player of the Week, do a little quick recap on some of the trade deadline pieces from the past month, looking back at the Kyle Kuzma trade, looking back at the De'Aaron Fox trade, Jimmy Butler trade, and then if we have time, the DeAndre Hunter trade. Now, we knew the DeAndre Hunter trade was going to be plus for Cleveland, but it's actually worked pretty well for the Hawks as well, so we'll take a look at that if we have time. But first, Tyler's throwback.
And we're throwing it back to a little, mid 2000s. You know, we're going with the man from Montenegro, Nikola Pekovic, otherwise known as the Godfather for good reasons because he's Mr. Drug Lord, standing at a 6'11", 307-pound center, drafted by the Wolves in 2008. Didn't play the first 2 years with them. Um, but I mean, overall in his career, he played 271 games. He was averaging 12 and a half points per game, about 6.5 rebounds. He was shooting 51% from the field. And just like our boy Burns Pancake or Shaquille O'Neal, um, he didn't shoot up a single three for good reason. His highlight season, um, well, there's two of them, but the 2012 to 2013, he played all 62 games. He was averaging 31 minutes. Um, he was throwing up 12 shots a game, and he was making 52% of them while averaging 8 rebounds, which is, everything that you'd want from a center. And being 6'11" in the center spot is ideal, but I feel like normally you'd want someone who's like 7 feet. It's an inch, but I mean, I've had women tell me that an inch matters. So take that as you may. I don't know. Um,
Yikes.
yeah, that's a big killer. Um, yeah.
I still
Uh,
see shadows in my room.
so bad. But going to the 2013 to 2014 season, 54 out of 54 games started, 30 minutes a game. He was hooking up 13 shots this time, and he had a 54% from the field. That's pretty impressive. 17 and a half points a game, still 8 rebounds, like he I'm gonna reiterate on this. The double pivot that he had in the post, nasty.
Nasty.
307 pounds, and you're moving like you're Kyrie. That's kind of insane, you know? And I will say this, it's kind of like Jokic, but like obviously Jokic can do a lot more. But like the little baby hooks, he could slam it down occasionally if there was nobody in front of him, so he never really had any posters. But his career high in points was 34, which is kind of insane. Like that's
And
especially the team
right.
that was not necessarily it wasn't built around Pekovic, but the players that he was playing with, it was just insane. Like Kevin Martin.
Yeah. Kevin Martin was also another player that we wanted to highlight here because that 2013-2014 team, so he wasn't there in 2012-2013 with Pekovic. He was actually in OKC as their sixth man. We gave him a nice contract for 3 years, and he played pretty well for the first 2 years. He was averaging about 20 points per game for both years. Wasn't much of a playmaker, didn't have a lot of assists. His main objective was to shoot the ball. He had a funky release. It was Ray Allen, just like a bullet right to the brim. But he made it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He was shooting about 38 to 40% from three, which, for that Timberwolves team that could not shoot, unless you have a white boy poster, not poster, white boy power forward like Cole Aldridge, that was about it. We had Ricky Rubio at the time. He was not a shooter at all. He was a lot more of a playmaker, driving to the lane, high finishing. Pekovic, who didn't create a lot of space. He sat in the post quite a bit. We had Gorgie Dang as the backup, so we needed shooters, and Kevin Martin was that shooter, the lethal shooter of that 2013-2014 Minnesota Timberwolves. 2014-2015, he led the team in scoring with 20 points per game, had two about two assists, no rebounds, no turnovers, no not much. He was just very efficient with what they had. That team wasn't very good. Like for a good basketball team, Kevin Martin at 31 years old probably would have been a backup, like that OKC team where he was a backup. So, but he played fine for us until 2015, 2016. He really took a dip. He went from averaging 20 points to dipping way down to like 10. Just fell off. And then he got traded to San Antonio. Career ended, basically. So he was if you ever want to take a look at a lethal shooter that's not one of the like top known guys like Ray Allen, stuff like that, Kevin Martin's one of them guys, man. He's one of them ones that always hit his shots. Always hit his shots. Even back in Sacramento when he was averaging 23, 24 points, when he was like a young kid, man, he was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
It was a fun team. It was the Minnesota team. Well,
It was a fun team to us because we were growing up watching basketball. Like this team sucked. This team wasn't very good. But we had a lot of it was weird. There was like a weird aura from this team. They were bad, but everyone loved them. There wasn't a
it was
single guy that people hated.
it was super diverse. We had a very diverse team.
We had a lot of guys from Europe, and we even had a lot of guys. We had, I think, Gorgie Dang's actually from South Africa, and um, so yeah, I mean, it was a fun team to watch.
Linko and Alexei Shaved, and we got
Rubio,
Russians. We got,
Nemanja Bjelica,
dude, you name it. We got it.
you name it.
You name it. But yeah, it was exciting, especially when we like started watching. It was kind of it was it was it was thrilling.
I think it
I
just gives us more excitement now to watch like the Timberwolves because man, we grew up watching some bad Timberwolves teams, and we weren't even like, because don't get me wrong, like the early 2000s to two, so 2001, 2000 to like 2008, when we were like little kids, didn't really watch basketball that much. That's when like they were all right. They were making the playoffs. They were competing maybe a little bit earlier because I'm pretty sure Kevin Garnett got traded in like '07, '06 or '07. But once Kevin Garnett left, the whole team fell apart. And then they started to trickle in a little bit, try to make that like push for what is the play in now, that 10th and ninth spot, trying to get that eighth spot. Because it was harder, obviously, to make the playoffs back then than it is now. Um, but then they started getting draft picks. Andrew Wiggins, like they got Karl Anthony Towns, now Anthony Edwards. It's a whole new dynamic, and it makes us enjoy Minnesota basketball now rather than back then. We were watching some bums from the street. Literally, I mean, Pekovic had a 5 year career and then he ended up being a kingpin afterwards. Like, that's what we were throwing out there.
That's fine. The most excitement that we got was Ricky Rubio setting a franchise record for assists and still managing to lose a game.
Right. What was it, like
So
15 assists in a game and we lost by like 10?
yeah. So it's like, wow, that's cool. At least he set a franchise record.
Right.
But
So yeah, that's the throwback for today, man. Out of all of our viewers, since we're Minnesota based, they'll know. They'll know.
they will know Pekovic and Kevin Martin.
Right.
They will know.
Um, so yeah, now we want to get into kind of look back at the players that were traded this trade deadline, and which one do you want to start with first? I was thinking either the Jimmy Butler one or the De'Aaron Fox one.
I mean, we can do either or. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Jimmy
So
works.
let's do the De'Aaron Fox one. Unfortunately, he is now out for the season with the hand injury.
A
Um,
pinky.
oh,
A
it says
pinky.
I don't know.
It's a
It's
pinky.
wild. And then Victor Wembanyama out for the season. So San Antonio is going to be probably the last seed, and they're probably going to get like a top three pick, which honestly is good for them. I think that's huge. Getting a top three pick, having Victor Wembanyama come back, De'Aaron Fox will come back next year. you just set yourself up beautifully because Vic is still pretty cheap contract. This rookie will be a cheap contract, and then you'll pay De'Aaron Fox not next year, but in 2 years, and you'll have a great system kind of built around. Now the problem was when De'Aaron Fox got traded, they still weren't really winning games. Like you look at the since the trade happened in February, they have only won about 6 games, and that was some of it's with Vic, some of it's without Vic. But it's a gelling process. It'll happen. I think Sacramento came away with the trade right now because of both of them being hurt. So San Antonio is not going to be in a good spot. But in the future, both will be fine. I have no doubts that De'Aaron Fox will be a good basketball player for the Spurs, especially pairing with Victor Wembanyama. I'm also a little skeptical though, because yes, De'Aaron Fox is a great player, but I don't think he's a great playmaker. I don't know. I've never known him as an unbelievable playmaker. And I thought Chris Paul was a great fit with Vic because of how good of a playmaker Chris Paul is and how smart he is. Obviously, they're not going to bring him back because there's no point of having Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox. They're both small guards who basically play zero defense now. And Chris Paul will probably retire in the next year or two. We'll see where he ends up going after this year because it was only a 1 year deal. But yeah, that's just kind of how the trade went. Unfortunately, it blew up on them because they both got hurt. And kind of like the Dallas trade, kind of inverse from the Dallas trade. You traded your best player away and he's now dominating. And then the guy you brought in got hurt. For San Antonio, you brought in the better player, and then he ended up getting hurt with your best player also getting hurt. So, unfortunately, a lot of injuries. That's just how it is. The one that I think has probably taken the biggest jump is the Warriors with the Jimmy Butler trade. They are now the fifth seed, the
Yeah.
sixth seed. I'm pretty sure, like a month ago, they were the 10th seed, like scraping, and now they're the sixth seed, and they're pretty close to the Lakers right now for that fifth spot. I think
Which
the West has gotten nasty.
it has. And it's weird to see that since Jimmy has been there, he only lost one game with them. I mean they've lost two, but the one that they lost, they he didn't even play. But the whole month of March, not against
Looks like
Philly,
Philly.
but I
How did they
mean, like
lose
I
that
said,
game?
he didn't play.
Oh,
He didn't play. So I don't know what happened, but besides that, they're on a tear right now.
yeah,
And Jimmy is actually like from like the last what is that, 5 games, 25 points, 26 points, I mean 15 points and then 6 points and 11 points. But he's still getting it done. Like he's doing something with the team. And I don't know if that's really going to affect them going in. I don't know if they can make it deep into the playoff run. But I mean, with how this year has been, it's going to be interesting. Maybe we'll see playoff Jimmy with Curry.
yeah,
I mean, that sounds like a deadly combo.
yeah.
Like the fact that he's not just running the team in the playoffs, he has like at least some help besides the onomatopoeia. Bam Adebayo, by the
The
way.
onomatopoeia.
But it's just weird how like the last couple of games that we have left is shaping out, especially with the Warriors. I didn't expect Jimmy. I think it's because we bashed him
Yeah,
as to why they're doing what they're doing now. I mean, like you said, they have an easier schedule coming up, but uh I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe
I mean, with this easier schedule coming up, it's just gonna skyrocket them to that fifth spot, hopefully. The Lakers have struggled a little bit since LeBron's been back and forth on some injuries, but dude, yeah, you're right. Jimmy is just creating his own right now because he doesn't have to be the number one every single time. He doesn't have now the problem with what the Heat were dealing with was they didn't want to play him. He refused to be a leader in that locker room because he was there for so long. He saw amazing, like he drove that team to two different finals and they still didn't build a successful team. Like both of those teams that he made to the finals were mediocre at best. He beat the Bucks, he beat the Sixers, he beat all those good teams with mediocre players. Now Bam Adebayo, I think, is a great player, but man, he is so up and down. It is unbelievable. And I think Jimmy right now is just taking this team to the next level. But it's also not only Jimmy. The bench is playing a lot better for the Warriors. Braden Pozemski is playing a lot better. Moses Moody is playing a lot better. They even have Jonathan Kuminga coming back and playing like I think right now the young guys on the bench have really taken the step up for them, and it's helping them succeed. Because Jimmy's kind of playing a 2-3-4 role. He's not really in a solidified spot. Because Draymond Green plays the 4-5 role, and then you have Curry who plays mainly the one, but sometimes they don't want him with the ball 24/7. They'll let Braden Pozemski come in and bring the ball up. Even Jonathan Kuminga, I've seen Kuminga bring the ball up because he's such a high dynamic athlete that it just gives him that first step and that good positioning to attack the rim. So,
Yeah. Even
um,
even that guy Santos, I think
yeah,
that's yeah,
yep,
like the dude from Brazil, he's actually showing out too. And I wish like that's what you like to see. Like I think Steve Kerr has he's he's a veteran coach. So I
yep,
mean he knows what he's doing. He's coached the Olympics, he's coached Curry. He played with the Bulls, so he's played with everybody that knows basketball. And I think a lot of coaches can benefit from what he knows is playing the young guys early because even Santos is he's balling out too. And I don't know if that's maybe that goes to what I always say about the locker room. I don't know what goes on in the locker room or whatnot. Maybe something's hyping up. Maybe Jimmy is feeling the fire or something like that. I don't know, but we haven't really heard anything from Draymond, which is really surprising.
right,
Um, but I just think this Golden State Warrior, if not, if they, if everybody stays, I think next year they could still be deadly because it would give Jimmy a full season to work with the team, and maybe not saying that he would go full throttle because he is playoff Jimmy, like that's where he shines, but I think like the chemistry that they have with all the young talent and then they have a mix of all the veterans. You have Curry, Butler, and Draymond. You have someone who knows how to shoot. You have someone who has the experience in literally everything on carrying a team, and then you have Draymond with the physicality and defense and the no BS, like I guess mentality. So I think this team it can be deadly, and I think bringing in Jimmy was probably like something that we didn't know about that would highlight the Warriors. But I that's a big W in my book.
right. No, I think one, they got younger because yes, they brought in Jimmy. He is older, he's 35, but they got rid of Kyle Anderson. They don't have Dennis Schroeder. They don't have Andrew Wiggins anymore. So that's three guys who are already a little bit older who took up a lot of minutes and got rid of them to help with the young guys to give them more playing time. And you talked about Guy Santos, another one who's really successful this year, Quentin Post. Quentin Post is a like 6'9", 6'10" power forward out of Michigan, I believe. Let me take a look. But he can shoot the rock, dude. He is shooting about 42% from three from a power forward position, taking about four shots a game out to the perimeter. He is a unbelievable player for them, and he's not anything special. He's actually 7 foot. He doesn't look 7 foot on the court, but he is 7 foot. But he doesn't need to be the inside presence that like Kevon Looney and Trace Jackson Davis are, or Draymond Green. He will sit around the mid range and sit around the 3 point line and hit his shots, and it's helped them. It's created more space. So I think right now the real question is for next year with Draymond Green. Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green are like kind of the exact same player, to be
Yeah.
fair. Draymond, yes, plays more of that center position. He's really good at defense. Jimmy can do that. He can't play the center position, but he can definitely give you the rebounds. He can definitely give you the defense. Do you get rid of Draymond or do you keep him? Because we've seen this. They have kept him through every up and down of his career, and it doesn't look like they want to get rid of him. But it gives you a kind of question mark into is it really worth keeping him like for this team?
That's a head scratcher. Um,
I think the obvious answer is yes. Like to keep him just because he's been a Warrior for so long, you let him retire, just let him finish out the career. He's 34, but
mhm.
um but that's just a lot of money in the books when you can bring in more young guys. Because in reality, Curry's not going to be here forever. He can't be 60 playing point guard. You're going to have to find someone to replace all of these guys because they only have about 2 to 3 more years in their career. So, is it worth even bringing Draymond back? Even if, say they make a good playoff run, but they don't make it to the finals, do you just sit down with all three of them and be like, guys, I'm sorry, but we need to take the next step. And Draymond, you probably have to go.
I mean, Steve Kerr probably knows a lot more than anybody else in the league knows.
Right.
He's probably already planned for this. I bet
Yeah.
he's been
He's
plotting.
got his
He's gonna be
whiteboard
like,
out there. Win the
yeah.
goddamn championship. It's all circled.
Yeah, he's like, actually, we're gonna acquire Anthony Davis somehow,
Yeah.
and he's
Well,
gonna come in and be healthy. He's gonna be the $1 million man,
right.
and he's gonna have metal legs, so we don't have to worry about a damn thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, LeBron wants to play with Curry, 1 year deal, win the championship. Um,
I don't know. I don't know. This year it seems like it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. So maybe next year will be maybe a little bit more weird and we'll just see some off the wall. Like every team will just like implode. And then they're like, oh, actually, we have new expansion teams, and all the old guys are going to, I don't know, Mexico. We're gonna have a team in Mexico.
I was gonna say like you could have a Seattle and Las Vegas team again, or just have a Seattle team and then Las Vegas would probably get one because they're getting every sports team.
Bringing back the Supersonics.
Yeah.
They
Well,
said it's going to be the Boomer Sonic, this
the
Boomer Sonics, all the old heads.
yeah,
I
but
don't know, dude.
so yeah,
That
I
Butler
mean
trade isn't it worked out for the best,
it's
honestly.
it's working out great for him, and we didn't think
Yeah,
it was gonna be, but it's man, they're really showing out right now.
it boggled my mind. So I don't know.
Boggled.
I don't know shit.
We don't know ball.
Yeah,
That is
I
true.
I really don't. This season really showed me that I do not know ball.
Well, I mean, last episode kind of showed you that too.
Okay, you know what? Shut up.
Steve Francis. Not
Steve Francis, Scott Francis, Steve Francis, Rob Francis,
Lakers in five.
Brendan Francis. Don't matter. Clippers in six.
Clippers in six. The next trade we want to get into is the Kyle Kuzma trade. It's also worked out for the Bucks quite a bit, actually. I think right now they've looked a lot better. Kuzma is playing his role how he should. He's not taking a ton of shots. He is playing good, playing average defense. He's at least giving them more, I guess, activity. I don't know. What's the best way to say it? Because he's doing fine. Like, it's not like he's the top scorer. It's not like he's the top rebounder, but he's playing fine. And
I
they
mean,
they didn't really give up that much, man. Chris Middleton is getting older. He's not playing that well. AJ Green, or I think it was AJ Griffin, was a young stud back in high school, but hasn't played well in the NBA. And now you bring in Kyle Kuzma to just fill a role, and he's done that just fine. I guess
he's
there's
getting
really
more
not much,
rebounds.
right?
He's getting
It's
more rebounds than Brock Lopez. So I mean,
well, Brooke Lopez don't rebound the ball.
Brock broke. Oh,
Yeah, right.
man.
Broke Lopez.
Broke Lopez.
I mean, 7 rebounds is a lot more than I thought for Kyle
Yeah,
Kuzma. But
and
it you have Giannis who averages 12, so
yeah, I'm just surprised that they actually like looking at his minutes, 33 a game for
yeah.
someone from Washington.
Well, you weren't going to trade for a guy who's not going to play.
Well,
You know what's
uh,
really been beneficial? Bobby Portis not playing because he
yeah,
really hasn't played all that well.
that's
So
insane. Because Bobby Portis isn't even bad either.
no, he's a good player.
It's just insane on how I don't know. Like these trades, like the Kyle Kuzma trade didn't make sense in my mind either. I mean, it's beneficial for Kuzma,
Right.
obviously, because
Get him out of
anybody in
Washington. He's not the
yeah,
number one or even the number two. He's the
no.
number three slash four because you can just give it to Brock.
Yeah.
Broke Lopez.
Broke Lopez. Broke. But
Um,
yeah.
he's not. I mean, he's still not shooting the ball very well for Kyle Kuzma. Don't let him shoot a three for the love of God. He,
Yeah, no.
he is horrible.
He might
But
have been able to do that in Washington, but
nope. I mean,
it's
dude.
just
I mean,
bad.
Giannis can shoot a little bit better than Kuzma. The,
Yeah. Kuzma's just he's not
he's just there.
he's he's just there, but
You know what I like to see? Their whole team from the US of A, besides one guy,
America, baby, found and funded,
besides
minus
Giannis.
Giannis. Besides Giannis, but that we give him a pat, we give him the green card, so it's fine.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There's a reason
Dude,
why he went to the Bucks.
have you ever seen they made a documentary series, or not a documentary series, they made like a show about Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the guy that they hired to play Giannis doesn't look like him at all. Like, and he tries to like I think he's from Greece because he does talk European a little bit, but
Mhm.
it just doesn't even. It's obviously with that kind of thing, you're not going to find a guy legit. Just go find Giannis, give him some money, and let him play
Yeah.
Giannis. You don't think Giannis is doing anything? I don't even think he's been on the court once this year. They don't even have him on the team. But they brought in Kevin Porter Jr., they brought in Kyle Kuzma, they brought in Jericho Sims. They made the right trades to improve their depth, which is what their problem was their depth. It wasn't star power. They started off horrible at the beginning of the year because people weren't playing well. Dame wasn't playing well. Brook Lopez wasn't playing well. Giannis had to carry that team, which he did that really well 4 years ago. But when you're 4 years older, it's kind of a struggle. So it's
I mean,
crazy that
there's
a dude who's averaging 30 points is like fourth in MVP voting. But it's kind of like Bradley Beal, who averaged like 32 points and wasn't even sniffing MVP votes in Washington.
yeah. I
So,
just also I think it's funny how like um this is going to be comparing like the West to the East, but like Milwaukee's sitting fourth for now, but like the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth spot are just completely up for grabs.
right.
Like obviously you have like the what the
The
triple
plan,
musketeers, the three musketeers,
the
triple musketeers,
Cavaliers. What are you talking
but
about?
like the powerhouses of the East, like the Cavs, Celtics, and the Knicks, like
Okay.
how they're like already solidified. Like, I mean, Milwaukee, if they keep winning and like the Knicks lose, they could take the three spot. But I mean, is that likely? But
No.
it's just weird as to because does Kuzma really even have playoff experience?
Well,
What
yeah,
am
he
I even
won he
thinking?
won a championship with the Lakers.
Well, okay, so did Brian Scalabrine too, but
Well, he still has playoff experience. He actually has he has 2 years of playoffs.
that's okay. So he has playoff experience. So,
Yes.
like whatever. But I, I don't know, dude. They're giving him a lot of minutes for someone who
You think it's going
has
to hurt
been a
him in the
bum.
playoffs?
I feel like it will. Because you
So,
have a team like the Bucks who are known as like well, they were known as like the the dangerous team,
right.
like a couple years ago, but like now you still have that same team just with Dame. Well, you still have like the same team, but you have Kuzma, but you're giving him all these minutes. Is it to prep him for the playoffs, or is it?
No, I think it just gives them the best chance to get a higher seed, I guess. Because who you take some minutes away from him, who are you going to give him to? More
Torian
minutes to
Prince.
Giannis.
Oh
No,
no,
Torian
no,
Prince ain't gonna fucking give you wins. What the fuck?
no. You never know.
Like if you give more minutes to Giannis, then he's just had a higher chance of injury, and same with Dame. So I think they're doing fine. If I look at the playoff teams right now, say Orlando, say we just take the 1 through 8 right now with how it's set. Milwaukee would play Indiana. I, honest to God, think Milwaukee wiped the floor with Indiana because they have out of that series, they have the two best players. I think Dame is still better than Tyrese. I think Siakam would be third and then Tyrese would be fourth. So I think they have the star power to win.
Mm.
It all depends if Indy's bench outplays Milwaukee's bench, basically. And then you get rid of that. You take on whoever wins the I think the 3-6 spot, so it would be Detroit or New York. So you play New York. That's a pretty, I mean, that probably goes 7, I would say. It's a pretty even lineup. I'd probably take New York over Milwaukee at that time. But if, say, Milwaukee ends up sweeping Indianapolis and then they go in and go play New York, they have the hot hand. I could see Milwaukee sneaking that one out and then boom, they're in the conference finals. So I think that's all they're, it's not a championship team. It sure as hell isn't, but it's definitely a finals team.
So what you're saying is no butts, no nuts, no coconuts, Bucks and 7.
Well, depending on the series. I think Bucks and 4 against Indiana, and I think Bucks and 7 if if they play New York.
Bucks and 7.
Right, I can't throw too many signs out. Hey,
Oh
have you
man.
ever do you go on, I don't think you go on TikTok anymore, but there's a dude who watches college basketball and he goes looking up hood status. And because everyone celebrates, they throw up the threes and they start shooting at people, and he goes, where the fuck are you from? And then he'll like look it up and he goes, oh, you got it. Or get the fuck out of here.
Like the one white dude who like pulled up his shirt and he was like, "Man, you ain't got no reason to be doing all that.
Yeah, he said, you're from Prior Lake, Minnesota. Get the fuck out of here.
Go back on your little yacht, you little prissy
uh,
mofo." Maybe that's what Kuzma will do. Maybe he'll pull out. Maybe he'll try to check his hood status.
oh shit. Show up threes. Even though I don't actually understand like how is that correlated to hood status? Like everyone back in the day used to just throw up the threes and would always point it at people. Even high schoolers, like middle schoolers do that. Like you gonna say that's hood status too?
Check him.
Jacob, where are
Check
you
him.
from?
It's like TSA. Well,
Head
okay,
down.
walk through now. Give it a little walk through. Beep beep beep. Ah, no, turn around.
Get the
You ain't
fuck
from
out of
here.
here.
The fuck out of here.
We have a couple minutes, so let's just kind of recap the DeAndre Hunter trade for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Um, there's not much really to talk about it besides the fact that they have given the keys to DeAndre Hunter. They have given him the opportunity to be an offensive spark, even if he's starting or on the bench. They started him a couple games, it worked. They put him on the bench, it's worked even more. There's no bad that is happening for Cleveland right now. They are winning ball games still, and not just winning, they are dominating ball games still. For Atlanta, they're in the playoffs at 32 and 35. So I guess it hasn't hurt them too bad to bring in Karis LeVert and Georges Niang. But they're still crap. They're still a crappy team. Because the East is so bad. That's a 7 seed being 3 games under 500. That would give you the 10th seed in the West. Like, we gotta balance this shit out or something. Like, the West is just too good.
It's
Besides besides the top 3 teams in the East, I would say.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's why it's just hard.
It's a weird year.
Because even I mean, even looking at the injury report for Atlanta, that's the thing that will stop Atlanta. Like you got Trey Young out, you got Larry Nance Jr. Big whoop, and then Karis LeVert, who's day to day. Clint Capella. I mean, it's
Jalen,
just
I would
like
say
there's, huh?
Jalen Johnson, their second leading scorer, is out too. So that's
Yeah, it's just like Dyson Daniels. I feel like he's that defensive pressure that presence that you want, but if you don't have everybody healthy for the Hawks, it's gonna be. I feel like no matter who you bring in, really, like it's just not gonna do it right. So you need everybody healthy. But I mean, you never know what could happen. But I mean, Karis LeVert is. I mean, he's. I feel like he's always been kind of a baller anyway. But
just depends on the year. There was one year in Cleveland he was just god awful. I think
yeah,
that was last year, but they were all god awful last year. So
yeah. It just. I mean, I don't think that he was doing too much for the Cavs. He was,
he's
in a
just their
sense
shooter,
of,
though.
yeah, like he's just raw scoring. Like there's nothing. It is beneficial to have him on the Hawks a little bit more, but I mean maybe next season. Like I mean, because Dyson Daniels is
He
he's a little magician.
There are three guys that they're going to build around, which actually we don't even know if it's going to be three. Trey Young might not be a guy that they want to keep around, but Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, and then Trey Young, I would say. I would try to keep Dyson Daniels as much as you can and Jalen Johnson. Trey Young is pretty expandable. You can trade him, you can keep him. It just kind of depends. You get a lot for him, I would say. So, you can kind of go either or.
Yeah, it just kind of sucks with it. Like I feel like the timing is off because they do have like for your center spot, like a Kongwu obviously is there, but then you have Clint Capella
Right.
who's 30. Like, are you gonna do something else? Maybe give is Karis LeVert gonna be like the new Trey Young, where he just sits up and shoots